someone's going to come to the side and go for the ball, but grab your arm where you can't make the shot, and you're going to get 2 free throws. I thought the response was way over the top.
A flagrant
from
foul.
Angel Reese.
She hates the fact that she's jealous of Caitlin Clark.
She hates the movement. She hates that she has this many fans.
Well,
she hates that she's the one who brought this attention to women's basketball. She believes this is a black woman's sport, and she doesn't like the attention she's getting, and she hates it.
What would have happened if she... We've always got to be talking about this matchup because something always happens. And yesterday, if you missed it on Sunday, it was Angel Reese that took offense to a hard foul at the block on a layup attempt by Caitlin Clark. And she got pissed off, came back at Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston got involved, got in the middle of things, and it was a flagrant foul called on Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston assessed a technical foul. Chad, is this all to do about nothing, or is this more than that? Is this hatred?
I think it's hatred.
I do too.
Yeah, I've said nothing that has happened in any of this with the story has changed my mind on it. I think that Angel Reese hates what she sees as Caitlin Clark and what she represents. I don't think she hates Caitlin Clark, the person. I think she hates the fact that she's not the star and that she sees it as white propaganda that Caitlin Clark is suddenly popular and everybody watches women's basketball because of Caitlin Clark. She hates it. So she hates that part of it and what she sees Caitlin Clark representing. I don't think she hates Caitlin Clark.
I think she just hates the fact that she doesn't have the spotlight. You know, she was trying to decree that it was more than one person that made up the WNBA, you know, that made things popular, why ratings were high. She was saying that, you know, she doesn't want to play the villain. And I don't think she does. I think she wants to play the role that Caitlin Clark has, and I think it's jealousy. And in this case, there was a hard foul. I would say a routine hard foul.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a player that has the layup attempt, you make sure that they don't get the shot off, so you don't get the and one. And the somehow the swipe down on the hard foul, Chad, made Angel Reese's left hand go up in the air. You know, it's crazy how that happened. It's with the exaggeration.
Caitlin Clark described it perfectly after the game. It's a take foul.
Yeah.
It's going to be a layup if I don't go in. I'm clearly going for the ball.
That's what you do.
It's a common foul in basketball. Now, if she tied her up and slung her, did a hip sling and threw her to the ground or something and was excessive, then I'd understand the reaction from Angel Reese on it. But there's no reason to react that way. You know exactly what's going on. You're doing a power dribble going to the basket. Someone's going to come to the side and go for the ball, but grab your arm where you can't make the shot, and you're going to get 2 free throws. So there was nothing abnormal about it from Caitlin Clark's side of it. I thought the response was way over the top.
A flagrant
from
foul
Angel Reese.
And a flagrant foul.
And the review and the flagrant foul.
Yeah.
Again, that's to appease Angel Reese because she got so pissed off about it.
Yeah, it's because of the dynamic between the two of them. It was what caused that.
Refs don't want to be seen as racist.
You're crazy as bleep, and what the
league does not want to appear as racist on the review, Hutton, or the refs, because if Angel Reese is that upset, there must be a reason she's that upset. So we're going to go ahead and assess the flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark and give Aaliyah Boston a technical
First one of her career.
Because we're not racist. That's clearly the message here from the WNBA.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you don't look at us with your racism. Because we called the flagrant foul. They solved it.
We've got this under control.
They solved it. They solved all of it right there with that
What
review.
a game, by the way. 93-58 was the final. Yeah. I mean, did the game even take place? I mean, it was just one-on-one, right?
It was only a 14-point game when that foul happened.
It was just one-on-one in the third quarter, too.
I think that it was Angel Reese's response that really inspired the Indiana Fever to go on to that blowout win because it was relatively close up until
Clark
that point.
ends up with a triple-double.
20, 10, and 10.
Yep.
Angel Reese had 12 points and 17 rebounds. Not bad.
Yeah. That's some poor basketball overall.
Are we still pretending that there's some sort of race between the two to see who's better or going to be the better player in the WNBA?
No one's even trying to claim that now, right?
There were a lot of people trying to claim it last year with the Rookie of the Year vote. That we saw a lot of it.
Halfway through the season. And
Angel Reese is a dynamic rebounder.
Yeah,
and good low post player. She can't shoot.
No.
She's not terrifically skilled.
Not great
in any way.
Not great at
right?
layups. She may have missed that layup.
She averaged 13 points, 13 rebounds a year ago. Caitlin Clark averaged 19, 8, and 7 in her Rookie of the Year campaign. She had 20, 10, and 10 yesterday. Magic and Bird worked not just because they were black and white, but because they were the two best players in the league in the 80s. They were great.
Well, at some
they were
point,
both in big markets, and they had a good team rivalry and a great player rivalry because they were both uniquely great in their own way. I just don't see any comparison.
There was a killer dynamic.
There's no comparison between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Which is why
players.
At some point this gets old. You know, this whole
the game of pretend.
Yeah, the antics that go on with Angel Reese. But so far, I mean, it's hit the league like wildfire. RG3 chiming in on social, saying after watching Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul on Angel Reese and the aftermath, there is no way Angel Reese can continue to lie that she doesn't dislike Caitlin Clark. I know what hatred looks like. Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, not some basketball rivalry hate either. Hate. That from RG3.
Yeah, I saw where Ryan Clark responded to it in a video and said that he can't chime in because RG3 is married to a white woman, so he doesn't know the plight of black women everywhere and can't comment, which is ludicrous. I also think it's ludicrous for Ryan Clark to act like every single black woman on the planet knows exactly what Angel Reese is thinking anytime. I think that diminishes black women and Angel Reese when you try to just melt it down to one individual thought. Is absurd. And I mean, RG3, I somewhat agree. There's, again, though, I don't think it's a hatred for the individual. I just think Angel Reese hates what she thinks is represented by Caitlin Clark and her
It's more
fans.
than irritating for her. Yeah.
I don't think it's, I do think it's irritating. No, it's not irritating. It's hatred.
No, yeah.
But it's not hatred for Caitlin Clark.
It's not the person. She hates the fact that she's jealous of Caitlin Clark.
She hates the movement. She hates that she has this many fans.
Well,
she hates that she's the one who brought this attention to women's basketball. She believes this is a black woman's sport, and she doesn't like the attention she's getting, and she hates it.
What would have happened if she doesn't come back at Caitlin Clark? The rivalry's over. Right?
I don't think
if she doesn't come back at Caitlin Clark,
I don't think the media is ever going to let it die.
You know, then it's like, oh, well, maybe you do like her now. And then it just runs flat to me. And she kept it going, at least. I mean, it's great for the league that they have the first game, and all of a sudden you pit the two hated heroes with Angel Reese, and of course she hates Caitlin Clark.
Well, look, they're 4-1 now, head to head. Caitlin Clark's Fever 4-1 against her in the WNBA. And let's go back to the player side of this. In the 80s, when the Pistons and Bulls were doing battle, it wasn't Michael Jordan versus Dennis Rodman. That's what Angel Reese is. She's Dennis Rodman. She's not Isaiah Thomas. It was Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas that hated each other because they were like players at the time. Now, Michael Jordan obviously far surpassed Isaiah Thomas's career eventually, but he had to overcome that Pistons hurdle to move his career forward and win his first title in 1991 and go on to be the GOAT. So why are we comparing and acting like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are in the same ballpark as players? Well, Caitlin Clark is dynamic in every way as a player.
I don't think we are. This is just the only storyline going right now. That's it. I mean, Caitlin Clark plays other games and has triple-doubles and is great, but at some point you have to have – this is the rivalry. You know, you've got the hip check and some other things with the Chicago Sky whenever they play Indiana. And I mean, did we mention another team last year? I don't think we did. I mean, it was just whenever that game rolled around, that's what we had. I don't think the comparison of the two players is relevant to this. I think it's just, Angel Reese used to be on top of the mountain, and then Caitlin Clark came in, stormed through college basketball, and took over the league. I mean, it's important that she's great for the WNBA, and it's for whatever reason important to many of the players that they don't acknowledge that. And Angel Reese is at the front of the line with that. Do you agree? I mean, I don't think it's Oh, she's close to a skill set of this.
I don't agree because I think people honestly believe they're close as players.
I mean, I just don't. I don't see how.
I don't think it's Caitlin Clark fans that believe that they're close.
So,
I think we can go and look at the responses to what Robert Griffin III said, and I bet you that most of the responses of people, if we polled them, they would say that Angel Reese is as good or better than Caitlin Clark, and that she's being held down because she's a black woman. That is what they would argue.
Well,
which is insane. But
Torrey Smith responding.
That's what we're looking at.
To RG3.
Yeah, Torrey Smith says that's a reckless statement, assuming that someone hates the other, considering how racist folks have been towards Angel.
Well, so those are claims. We had the thing at the bus at the hotel last year. Now she says that she's had death threats and other things. And that certainly we don't stand for that. That doesn't need to be condoned. But we have another instance yesterday with racist allegations coming out.
Before we get to that, because we'll get to those racist claims too, I think we should also have the first 3 responses to the Robert Griffin III one that I sent in.
My bad. I thought this was it.
Do we have that up there? No? We don't have that one. Okay. I'll read them.
Oh, here you go.
Yes, here we go. This is from WNBA Zodiac T, which I don't know what kind of account this is. A black woman gets a flagrant foul and dragged online, and the black man in the room calls her hateful. You're not protecting women. You're protecting the system that profits off her pain. Again, I'll argue that whoever's behind this account thinks that Angel Reese is as good as Caitlin Clark. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
The next response.
Zodiac T.
Yes.
So we're 2 for 2 on not having an actual photo of the person tweeting this.
This is Iris Central. White people are so interesting. In every scenario, you are always the victim. All right? And this next person, this is an actual picture.
Who knows who's behind this?
Finally, Hutton, we'll get an actual picture of someone. This is from Chuck Modi 1. Not merely a bad take, given who you are. It's journalistic malpractice. His opinion, by the way, now is journalistic malpractice. Even if it's just a tweet. If you missed last year, you'd know there's a sizable racist, delusional Caitlin mob that has produced endless hate and death threats to Angel, and you are pouring gasoline on all that, feeding a monster. That from Chuck Modi 1. So, it's all predictable. Like every single response to what RG3 said from people that follow RG3 was totally predictable in my book.
So, predictable too was the flagrant foul, as you mentioned, going back to the review, and then the technical assessed to both Angel Reese and Aaliyah Boston. And Boston didn't know that she was teed up until the press conference after the game.
Okay, let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line. I'd rather give up 2 points. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am. So, this wasn't anything like that. And I went for the ball, and that's clear as day in the replay. You watch it. It shouldn't have been upgraded. But, again, that's up to the ref's discretion.
Yeah, before that, Boston is told by Caitlin Clark that she's going to pick up the tab on the.
Yeah, it was a very funny
It's
response.
a $200 fine, by the way.
That's all it is for a technical?
Yeah.
Well, I get that makes sense given the salaries.
The flagrant foul can be up to $2,000.
Yeah.
But this is the first one of her career.
Well, Aaliyah Boston was funny in her shock about it, and then kind of joked, "Can you get half of it?"
Yeah.
And she says, "Don't worry, I got you. I'll take care of all of it."
It's an easy. It's a heavy.
With my
heavy
endorsements,
fine.
I take care of all of it. Hey, Hutton, you were asking, what other teams are we talking about in WNBA? It's a great question because we didn't talk about any last year. I will say, and I saw this, the Dallas Wings sold out of their season tickets and are sold out they sold out their arena for their first game with Paige Beckers. As a rookie. So this is sort of being hyped as the next Caitlin Clark is Paige Beckers. Now, they play somewhere called College Park Center in Arlington, Texas. So they're not playing where the Mavs play. I've got to get a rundown of the exact capacity of College Park Center. But
I bet that's over next to Jerry's World in that whole area that he's trying to build.
That's still something. It was a sellout in the first game. So
that's great.
I'm
again,
impressed.
This isn't the Angel Reese effect. It's the Caitlin Clark effect. 7,000
seat capacity.
Well, that's great. Again, that's what you. That's what I would want.
Yeah.
Even if I'm at college right now.
Right.
If I'm non-power 4, give me the 7,000 to 10,000 arena.
When I turn to Ion to watch a game on Friday nights, that's what I want to see. I want to see a packed 7,000-seat arena ready to go for some Dallas Wings hoops.
You know what?
That's what I want.
You know what Angel Reese wants is the attention. That's what I feel that she's trying to gain, because she gets the attention with the statement from the WNBA. Newsflash, they do not condone racism. We have that statement, I believe. Yes, they do not condone racism, and they condemn hate and discrimination in all forms.
I could have written this press release on a napkin.
No place in our league or society. We totally agree with this, by the way.
Right.
They're aware of allegations and are looking into the matter.
Do you think this is AI that wrote it, or is there actually someone at WNBA headquarters that just has this statement on standby? Every single league has one person that's a genius that types this up, or do you think that they just follow a template of what every league posts when something like this happens?
I think
the WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and discrimination in all forms. I think this has just been copy and pasted from every league.
I'm sure there's a black book, where it's kind of like the media center for the hub, where it has phone numbers and everything else. Maybe they have like a professional league book like that where you can go and copy and paste, because also in there it could have, we want to find a cure for cancer.
Yeah. Public relations for dummies.
Yeah, the obvious statements.
Hey guys, we strongly condemn racism over here.
And so do Chad and I.
Yeah. Rarely are you going to see an organization just come right out and say, some racism's okay. I don't think anybody's going to write that in a statement.
I want to point out, though, unless I'm watching or hearing the wrong part of the game here that's circulated on social, these alleged racial slurs are nothing more than fans booing and it being annoying at a free throw attempt, where, to me, it takes the attention off of Caitlin Clark, puts it on the Chicago Sky.
The claim is they were making monkey sounds.
Yes, making monkey sounds. And it pulls the attention away from the obvious great game by Caitlin Clark. Again, and the other thing it does is it puts more attention back on Fever fans, Caitlin Clark fans, who have been, pointed at and called all kinds of things, including racist.
Of course.
Here is one side, one angle of the free throw attempt from the stands, where you can hear what a fan, it sounds to be like a dolphin in the arena.
It's a flagrant. And then Chicago will maintain the basketball.
So I wouldn't want to sit next to that person. But
was that a person or the speaker?
No, that's a person.
Because
I know it's not the speaker because I'm about to play another cut in the arena.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like some people, they'll play like a sound or something before a free throw.
You're talking about
on the PA, like in-house speaker.
Well, I know it's not that.
That was so odd and consistent that I thought it was someone playing a recording of something.
That was a fan, because this is also in the arena from the opposite side, where you should be able to hear that if it's on the PA. Again, I don't hear anything. I hear booing.
Here it comes. I heard it a little bit faintly in the background, and probably across the arena with a very annoying fan.
I think it's a fan, though.
Yeah, it sounded like Ace Ventura when he was doing the dolphin noises. When he speaks to the dolphin. Remember when he's pretending to be the dolphin trainer? Maybe Jim Carrey's a big Indiana Fever fan, and he was there at the game.
Can we play the first one again? Paul and I don't know, years ago, we went to some John McEnroe deal at the arena.
Indoor tennis match.
Yes. And we sat next to this woman who kept yelling out the word nice, but she said nice over and over and over and over for hours on end. And it got to a point where you just had to laugh instead of cry. Imagine sitting next to this woman.
It's a flagrant. And then Chicago will maintain the basketball.
Wow.
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
It's like the Vandy Whistler. Sitting next to the Vandy Whistler.
Yes, man.
I would love if someone was able to talk to the person who did this and we find out that they just do that dolphin noise all the time.
So
every game, and then that becomes a story in and of itself.
So, Chad, if this is what they're investigating, and they're putting out that copy and paste statement, they have to release another statement saying, no, this was just a fan pretending to be a dolphin, or identifying as a dolphin in the arena.
Definitely identifies as a dolphin.
And that's all it was. Because, again, I look at it from the perspective of this is another instance where Indiana Fever / Caitlin Clark fans are now being accused of
all racist.
Something. Something that is not happening, at least from in the arena. If, again, I'm saying if that is the time and place where this allegedly took place.
Yeah.
Now, if it happened, that fan should not be allowed back into the arena.
Right.
Period. But I need more than just an accusation and a statement release that you're looking into it.
Yeah, there's a common thought that anyone who came to the WNBA and has attended a game since Caitlin Clark came in the league that wasn't at games before is a racist. There are many people who believe that.
Yeah.
So I believe if you're looking for something, you can find it. Okay?
You can hear what you want to hear?
Yes. Like,
so
I hate to use a softball coaching analogy again, but if you're going to walk around with rabbit ears, you're going to hear a parent say something that pisses you off. And then if you want to turn and have a fight with every single person at a baseball or softball tournament, you could get into an argument with anyone at any time because you're going to hear something you don't like. But if you're not always looking for it, it probably doesn't exist. So you could find racism anywhere if you want to find it and you're looking hard enough. This is not it, from what I can tell.
I just want to see proof of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be something. Again, I would think in the moment, if you're hearing that, there's a commotion. If you're going to go back at Caitlin Clark for a hard foul in the paint, there's something where you're pointing up at someone, right? I mean, I would suspect that. Again, if it happened, that fan or fans should not be allowed back into the arena, period. But, we had the whole bus thing at the hotel last year. I just, at some point, you got to do more than just claim or blame or allege. And the accusations, they need a bit more bite to it before, especially with the fan base that we're talking about. It's the same repetitive notion here. And I just,
the only way,
it's not fair to just paint everyone with the same brush here.
And we don't know who's making the allegation. That it's been very clear that they don't know where this was sparked. I'm sure it was sparked by someone with the Chicago Sky that heard it or is claiming it, right? I don't think the Indiana Fever are turning in their own fans saying they're racist.
Well, I'm saying, but there are black women that play for the Indiana Fever.
Yeah.
And they would also be.
They would want to know
right?
also. But yeah, I want to be respectful of Angel Reese because we're not sure that she's the one who turned somebody in or said that they were doing this to me, right? It could have been someone on the bench, could have been a coach, an assistant coach. Like, we don't know what she heard or did not hear.
That's fair.
I think the only way to prove these allegations, Hutton, honestly, is to expose it in the daylight, and the daylight happens when it occurs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
there has to be say what you just said to me again. Stop the game.
There has to be something
walk off
like
the
that.
free throw line. Get security. Go over there. Get into a confrontation with the person that said it, and then tell them what was said. And you hold up the game. Now, there's going to be people who are pissed off at Angel Reese if she does that. I wouldn't care if she did that. If someone threw a racial slur at her and she stopped, I'd respect her for stopping the game and addressing it right there. Yes.
I would respect and expect that.
But if you're making allegations with nothing to back it up, and it's a lady doing an annoying dolphin
voice,
that's
when it took place,
then it's ridiculous.
That's nothing. I mean, that's just an annoying fan. That the people sitting next to that fan should also want an investigation.
Yeah, they're the ones that need the investigation.
So
that woman's season tickets needs to be revoked.
We've been also investigating Angel Reese. Does she want to play the villain? Is she the villain? Because she said both. She doesn't want to, but she'll play the villain if we're going to say that she's the villain. there was a follow-up to that where, it was also the quote where she had this big take that, the league is more than just one player. And, of course, that was last year. Here's this year's response.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next
getting...
question.
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
I mean, I just don't. You don't want to play the villain, but that's powerful statement. That was a question. That should be a layup that she makes right there, where she could double down on it. You made a powerful statement. That's not a question that's going to be, clickbait. That is her ability right there. That's her chance to make it more clickbait. The next question just ends up being what?
She's inside of a losing argument right now, though. So I think she wanted it. She wanted the Heat a year ago. It didn't go well for her. Her team lost. She didn't play as well as Caitlin Clark. She's not playing as well as Caitlin Clark. So I think a lot of it is let's change the conversation because I'm losing this conversation. And I don't want to keep going back to comparing myself to Caitlin Clark because, quite frankly, that comparison's not going well for Angel Reese on the court.
Yes, you're right. If she wanted to change the conversation, just don't go back after Caitlin Clark. Just take the hard foul and go shoot the free throws.
And I'm not blaming media members asking these questions because it's what we're talking about, what everyone's talking about.
It's what she wants.
When they keep bringing this stuff back. But she doesn't want it because she's losing. So, she wants to talk about it. Hey, when we win a game or I played really well, ask me about that all you want. I'm ready to talk my shit. But when she's not winning, I don't want to be compared to Caitlin Clark.
No,
do you want the comparison or not?
But it's also, we're friends and everything's cool. But it's both, and it's whatever is not happening in that moment. If she's being ignored, the league is more than just one person. And if she's getting attention, then it's next question. It's going to get old. But I appreciate the fact that she got up and went after Caitlin Clark because this continues into year 2. Had she not done that, then it's like, oh, maybe they are kumbaya.
I like that. I'm with you, and I like that there's a little more spice to the rivalry.
Yeah.
Again, with this flagrant foul and the reaction, because it's a lot more boring if they're best buds.
I mean,
if they're going to Taylor Swift concerts together, I'm not as interested in the WNBA.
Friendship bracelets and
let's get some good old-fashioned
they're swapping jerseys after the game.
Good old-fashioned hate going, right? Let's get that going.
Hate. Coming up, we've got plenty to discuss with some news over the weekend and this past week with Brock Purdy and the message that it's the 49ers are sending to all of us. If you like the show, we hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe right here while you're at the OutKick YouTube channel. Back with more right after this.